Welcome to Faith is the Podcast, everybody. You know, we always talk about how our faith connects to, well, all the different parts of life.
That's right.
And today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into some writing from Dr. Myles Munroe.
Oh, yeah. I love his work. Very insightful.
And what really stuck with me, what we're focusing on today, is he talks a lot about personal growth, right?
Yeah.
Like how to become the best version of yourself, all that.
Right.
But the thing is, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
No, not at all.
He's really clear that, like, nothing great happens by accident. Like, you must force yourself to grow. And I was thinking about that in the context of, like, our faith journey.
Okay, I see that.
Because sometimes we think about, like, okay, we receive Jesus's gift of salvation, and then, boom, everything's easy, transformation's automatic.
Right, like a switch flips.
Exactly. But honestly, living it out day after day, changing those old habits, that takes work.
Yeah.
It's an active choice to walk that path, even when it's tough.
Absolutely. And that's where Dr. Munroe's ideas come in, right? It's that conscious effort, that intentionality that really makes the difference.
Yeah, he doesn't just say force yourself to be, like, harsh or anything.
No, definitely not.
It's more about the discipline, pushing past our comfort zones. Like he says, and I wrote this down, make the decision to move forward even when it's hard. So good. So applicable to faith, too.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because that initial step of faith, accepting that gift, it requires letting go of old ways of thinking and like actively choosing a new identity. So yeah, that's definitely a form of forcing yourself, but it's for the better.
And this isn't just about the big moments, He talks a lot about choices, like the everyday decisions we make and how they shape us. It's so easy to feel swept along by circumstances.
Oh, they know that feeling.
But he challenges us to take ownership, to be aware of how those small choices affect our direction, both spiritually and personally. It's powerful stuff, really makes you think.
It is. And, he makes this really interesting point about purpose.
Oh, yeah, he talks about that a lot.
Yeah, he says it shouldn't just be about getting by. We're created for a reason, and that should be driving us no matter what's happening around us. It's about living with intention, fueled by that deeper calling.
I love how he reframes challenges. It's not about seeing them as, like, roadblocks or failures.
Right. They're opportunities, right?
Yeah.
To grow stronger, more resilient.
Exactly. It's in those tough moments where we can choose to become better, to learn. And that's where consistency comes in, which he talks about a lot. Like, it's not about one big heroic act, but about showing up day after day, making those small efforts over time.
Yeah, that compounding effect.
Right. Whether it's building a good habit, learning something new, or deepening our faith, it's those consistent little things that create huge change in the long run.
Makes sense. What I find really insightful is his emphasis on inner motivation.
Oh, yeah. He says, don't wait for motivation to strike. Be the source of it.
So true. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or feeling inspired. It's about getting up and doing it even when you don't feel like it.
Because action creates its own energy, its own momentum.
Exactly. It's like faith in action, right? Not passive, but a force for growth and change from within.
And he ends by talking about legacy, the impact we leave behind, and challenges us to push ourselves beyond our comfort zones because our potential is so much greater than we realize. It's inspiring.
It is inspiring. Your life, your faith, it's not just about you. It's about how you can positively influence the world around you. And sometimes that takes, like we said, stepping outside of what's comfortable, embracing those challenges that lead to real growth.
So to kind of bring it all together, this deep dive has really been about recognizing the effort, the intentional action that's part of growth in our lives and in our faith. That choice to follow Jesus, it's not just a one-time thing. It's about actively choosing to walk that path, even when it pushes us to change. Makes you think, right? Where in your own life, maybe you need to, like Dr. Munroe says, force yourself a little. Not because you have to, but because you want to become better, to grow closer to who you're meant to be.
Definitely something to consider. And hey, before we wrap up, a huge thank you to Business Referred for sponsoring Faith is the Podcast.
They're awesome.
If any of you listeners out there want to connect with amazing local businesses, you can reach out to them for advertising at info@businessreferred.com.
Great way to support the community.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on Faith is the Podcast. We'll see you next time.